Hello and welcome to a stamping presentation by CJ Card Creations. My name is Christy Hillock. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Salt Lake City. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really hope you'll enjoy this project and I would love to see what you create using this as kind of a starting board. So what we're going to do today is actually make this covered notepad. I just found these notepads at the dollar store. They measure, I want to say 5 by 8. So let's just double check that. Yep, 5 by 8. So very handy for keeping, in your work bag or anything like that. So what we'll do first is take some Misty Moonlight cardstock. And this has been cut to 5 by 8.5. And we're going to do some scoring. So I'm going to bring in my Simply Scored. And I want to score the long side at 3/4 and at 1 5/8 and at 1 3/4. So those two are just right next to each other. All right, so there is that piece. Now I'm going to bring my cardstock, and this is from the Nature's Harvest Designer Series paper pattern. This piece has been cut to 5 by 12, and I'm actually going to trim off just a 1/2 inch here in a minute. So what we'll score this at is 7 1/4 and 7 3/8. So again, just side by side. Now, a couple of tricks with your scoring. Cardstock is thicker than your Designer Series paper, so do make sure that you're more gentle as you're scoring on the Designer Series paper. You don't want to pop through. And also make sure that you always get your paper right up in the corner and flush against the sides. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. And now I'm just going to bring in my scored paper and burnish these lines. All right, so there is the first one, and now just carefully you want to get the next score line. And the reason that it is just 1/8 inch apart is because the notebook is only 1/8 inch deep. So now we've got the cardstock ready, except that I actually want the Misty Moonlight side up. And I'm going to also get rid of that 1/2 inch that I had mentioned. So I'm just going to do this with my Stampin' Trimmer, and I'm taking off a 1/2 inch. So there is that piece. All right, and now we'll do the scoring on the cardstock. Somewhere I have a bone folder, but I don't see it, so we're just going to make do. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is bring in some glue. We're going to actually glue this to itself. This will make just a really nice finished edge for the flap where you tuck in the cover. So we'll do that, and then we can also glue to the notepad itself. And this isn't exactly a 3D project, but I do feel like it could potentially have quite a bit of use. And so I'm going to go ahead and use liquid glue and my tear and tape just to make sure that it's really sturdy. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just making sure that my edges line up here. And now I'm going to grab some tear and tape. And you could use liquid glue, but this is just a little more manageable. So I am going to apply this just across there, and I want to make sure that I leave space for tucking in the flap. So do that and peel that off and fold it over, and there you go. So that is that bit. Now I want to bring in my cardstock, and I am actually going to be adhering just this short piece to the back of the notepad. So I will get some glue on here. And then I'll line up the bottom edge with that score line. And then I'm just gonna flip it over and make sure that it's on here just the way I want. Slide that down just a hair. And apparently I had already cut this piece. So we can always be flexible, right? So we're gonna fix this. Let's see. Okay, sorry for that delay. So I'm just going to bring in a piece of Misty Moonlight that we can adhere just like that. And that will still give us our lip to tuck it in. So trim this down to 5 inches. And I'm just going to set this up so that it sits right where I want it to. And then I can bring some glue just right here. So that is just a good example of how things don't always go like you thought they were going to, and you can always figure it out. So now we have our notepad completely covered, and what I'm going to do, I've used the Stitched So Sweetly shapes to get this rectangle, and then also a white one to nest inside of it. So before I do anything adhering to that, I want to do my stamping. So I've got a blotchy piece or background stamp from the Nature's Harvest stamp set. So it's that one. And I'm going to take my Calypso Coral ink and we'll just stamp right there. And now I can take my Misty Moonlight ink, and this stamp is actually coming from a bundle that will be available in January. So it's, I think, Heart and Home, something like that. So you are a real blessing to everyone around you. So we'll just line this up here. And there it is. Now we'll adhere all of these pieces together and you will be done. Have a nice project to give away to someone who you want to acknowledge as special to you, but not necessarily spend a lot of money on, because Christmas gets expensive. And I did choose this paper and the sentiment with just a little bit of looking forward in mind. These are not Christmas colors. This, even if you're giving it as a Christmas gift, it's really just not seasonal at all. So now I'm going to adhere this strip that we cut off, and that'll just bring in a little bit more of our Calypso Coral. And the other thing that you may notice with this is that I'm not doing anything dimensional here like I normally would, just because I don't want pieces catching on whatever's in the bag where you're carrying this. So set this on just like so, and then make sure that those ends do adhere. And now I'll get some adhesive on the white die cut. And set this right smack dab in the center. and that project is ready to go. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this stamping presentation. If you have any questions or need any help with products, I would love to help you. Please reach out and let me know if there's anything that I can do for you, and I would certainly love your business if you're looking to purchase any of these products. Thanks so much. Bye.